One of the most common questions that people ask is, will I be able to get an AWS job without having any prior experience on AWS? So to answer this, in this video, I will be taking you through an interesting small interview scenario with the help of which you'll understand how to increase your chances of getting selected for AWS job, and then we will discuss about 5 selection factors or strategies that can help you to grab that opportunity for your dream AWS role. So let's get started. Now, the best way to know whether you'll get an AWS job without having any experience on it is by understanding your position from interviewer's point of view, which means going to the other side of the table. In this interesting example, you will be acting as an interviewer who will be interviewing 3 candidates, and some of them might have capabilities of getting hired even if they don't have any practical experience on AWS. So let's start interviewing them. Now the first candidate walks in and you start interviewing this candidate. Now, keeping aside the introductory part, you start asking him questions around AWS, and the first one would be, what is his hands-on experience on AWS? Now, this candidate A answers claiming that yes, I have done some personal projects also, I have done some hands-on in my company as well, I have some practical industry level experience, I have done these architectures, designed these solutions and so on. And this looks very good to you. Okay. Then you ask him about any AWS certifications that he has, and he says, yes, I do have an AWS certification. Okay. Then jumping to the main part of the interview, you start asking him conceptual questions around AWS to assess his knowledge. You start asking him questions around, it can be anything, what is VPC, how do you implement this solution, what is load balancer, how do you improve the performance of this system, which service you will use in this scenario, and so on, just to understand what level of understanding he has. And surprisingly, he struggles to answer to the most of the questions because he knows what he has done, but his conceptual knowledge is not that good. That means he knows that he has done this, he has provisioned this, he has run those scripts, but the main thing, why he has run those scripts, why he has used XYZ service in this position, he is not having that conceptual knowledge. So, okay, fine. So his conceptual strength about AWS is kinda not up to mark. And then his hunger or interest is also not that up to mark. He is like, okay, I know this, I have worked on this, but I don't know why my manager chose this service or like that. So fine, his hunger or interest is also okay. Now you end this interview and candidate B walks in. Then you again start asking him questions about his hands-on experience, and he says, I haven't got any chance to work on the practical AWS solutions, but I have tried my best to understand the concepts, and I have provisioned or created some personal level solutions by understanding from the demos, and I have created this solution, this architecture, small architecture, the connectivity between application and database, and the setup of load balancer and EC2s, auto scaling, maybe running a small lambda function, and so on. He describes whatever he has done from his end. Okay, fine. Then you ask him whether he has any AWS certification, and he says, no, unfortunately, I don't have it right now. Okay. Now you start asking him conceptual questions around AWS. You start asking him the same questions, which service can we use in this place, and which would be the ideal solution or best practices or improving performance, or how will you resolve, how will you serve millions of customers without any latency, and so on. You're asking those questions, and surprisingly, as his efforts and conceptual knowledge is strong, he is able to answer most of the questions. So yes, that's a good part, and his interest and hunger to get this opportunity is also looking good. You can observe, or you have noticed that what this opportunity means to him. He is very much interested and willing to work for this job role. So again, that's a good point for this candidate. Okay, now moving to candidate C, You ask him about his hands-on experience, and this person is like, okay, I have done some personal projects, I have worked on some projects in the office as well, so okay, fine. AWS certifications, he says, yes, I do have one. And when you start asking him conceptual questions, he also kind of struggles to answers. He know answers to some questions, basic questions: what is S3, EC2, how will you use this, what is lifecycle policy, etc. But not that up to mark when you dig in deep. So fine, average. And the interest and hunger of this candidate is also okay. So he's like, I know this, but I don't know this. I'm not sure. I haven't worked on this, so I don't know. Like, that's the way he is answering. So fine, his interest or hunger is also kind of okayish. Now we are done with the 3 interviews, and now it's time to select the best candidate. And now you as an interviewer, just pause this video and try to think which candidate will you select. Me personally have taken interviews of 100 plus candidates, and I can say that if a candidate is taking a lot of efforts to understand the AWS concepts, he knows which service is used where, why to use which service, he has taken his best efforts from his end to provision some small scale AWS services, some small architecture, some small solutions, and he is very much willing to work with you for this job, this opportunity means a lot to him, then obviously when compared to candidate A and C, candidate B is very much suitable. And as you can see, you might fall in this category, right? So you don't have any practical AWS hands-on experience on the projects, or you might not even have AWS certification, but you can still beat the candidates whose conceptual knowledge are not that great and who are just casually getting themselves interviewed. So this is the way how you can get selected. And whatever we have observed in this interview itself, in the coming section itself, we will understand what are those 5 strategies which made this candidate B get selected for this interview. Okay, then what are those 5 factors? The first one is AWS concepts, of course. He made his concepts rock solid. He might have learned the Udemy courses. He made his basics very strong, and because of which he was able to confidently answer to most of the questions. Second thing is hands-on practice. Even if having an AWS pre-tier account, you have a lot of provision to create T2 micro EC2 instance or provision a Lambda, kind of implement a small solutions, and maybe you can spend a little amount of money on that. That would not be that harmful. You can follow the Udemy courses for the same to do a demo solution implementation, how RDS works, how Lambda works, and so on. The third selection factor is the area of expertise. Now you can get deeper into one of the area. Like, even if you have an overall knowledge of AWS, get deeper into one area. Like maybe it can be DevOps, maybe it can be databases or big data. So you can dig deeper into the data lake part, big data part, how Athena, how AWS Glue, how S3 data lakes work. You implement a small solution by referring to the blogs. So you can also refer to the blogs, Medium blogs or AWS blogs, which are there on website. People have already given step-by-step solutions to how to implement a small scenarios on AWS, how to solve solutions, and so on. So there's a lot of opportunities on internet by which you can learn on your own. Now the fourth thing is interview difficulty. This is really important. Okay. Now if you directly study and go for a product-based companies, big companies who have a tough interviewing experiences, they have 5-6 rounds of interview, this is obviously going to make you disappointed. So my suggestion is start from mid-scale and service-based companies, as the interview difficulty will not be that difficult. And then gradually, if you are aiming for that the product based companies itself, then keep on giving interviews, try to understand what questions are being asked, what are your weak areas, and improve those areas. And then gradually you can grab that product based opportunity. Or if you're fine with service based companies, we have a lot of good service based companies also, then it won't be that difficult. If your AWS concepts are strong, you will be able to crack it. Just don't give up and keep trying, and start from a easy to medium level difficulty of interview. And the last strategy would be your interest and hunger. You should be able to project your interest in this opportunity. So your drive, your interest, what this opportunity means to you shall be projected by you in the interview itself. Now don't show the desperation that I will do anything to get this opportunity, I have lost my sleep, I just want this opportunity, I will do anything, you won't be complaining anything and so on. This will show a high level of desperation. That's not a good sign. But show a keen interest that even if I haven't got the chance, I am giving my best to understand this, and I'm sure that I will be able to give my best to solve your problems, create solutions and so on. So these were the 5 selection factors or strategies which you can use to your best to grab that best opportunity you are aiming for. So did you like the video? Then please subscribe to this channel and share this video with all of your friends. Thank you so much for watching.